Back in the 1990s, saving files was an ordeal. Floppy disks were slow, fragile, and could barely hold a song. That all changed thanks to the revolutionary invention, the USB flash drive. Simple, portable, and powerful. It transformed the way we stored and moved data, and what many people don't realize is that Asia, especially Taiwan, played a crucial role in making this invention a global success. Today we speak with the man behind that game-changing innovation, Dov Moran, during his recent visit to Taipei for COMPUTEX. Hi, you're listening to Beyond the Reefs, a show produced by Radio Taiwan International. Here we talk about socio-economic issues that are faced by Taiwan and their broader impact around the world beyond the reefs of this island nation. Before cloud storage, before Bluetooth transfers, before external SSDs, there was the humble USB flash drive. Today, it's nearly invincible in our digital lives, but 2 decades ago, it was a revelation. When Israeli tech entrepreneur Dov Moran and his company M Systems launched the first USB drive in 1999, it marked a radical departure from floppy disks and optical media. The initial product, marketed under the name DiskOnKey, could hold just 8 megabytes of data. By comparison, a standard floppy disk held only 1.44 megabytes and was prone to bending, breaking, and demagnetization. The new drive didn't just hold more, it was smaller, faster, reusable, and rugged. Within a few years, USB flash drives became ubiquitous. By the mid-2000s, global production had skyrocketed. According to Statista, more than 400 million USB flash drives were shipped annually by 2009. The market, once niche and costly, had become mass, and rippled effect spanned the globe. But no region felt that shift more acutely than Asia. In Taiwan, the invention triggered a surge of contrast manufacturing and semiconductor innovation. Many of the world's first flash memory chips were integrated into USB devices assembled right here. Companies like Phison Electronics, a Taiwanese firm that developed one of the first single-chip USB flash controllers, became essential to driving down costs and scaling production. This local ecosystem of chip designers, controller engineers, and testing labs enabled rapid iteration and global competitiveness. In other words, the USB drive was invented in Israel, but its mass production and success was engineered in Taiwan. Asia, naturally, quickly became both the factory and the proving ground. The rise of portable electronics in South Korea, Japan, and Greater China, including early digital cameras, MP3 players, and laptops, made USB ports and flash drives indispensable. For consumers in cities like Taipei, Seoul, and Tokyo, USB drives weren't just office tools, they were cultural accessories. A student's keychain in Taipei might hold Hello Kitty-shaped flash drives. In Japan, Sony and Buffalo began producing stylized or encrypted models. In Korea, drives came preloaded with K-pop albums or school textbooks. Even as cloud computing began to eat into portable storage markets, USB flash drives retained their relevance in Asia. Why? Well, infrastructure. In many parts of Southeast Asia and rural China, limited internet access meant physical data transfer still reigned. Teachers in Malaysia could bring in USBs to schools filled with lesson plans. Engineers in Vietnam passed around architecture models or CAD files on sticks. Governments used USBs for digital ID programs. Globally, the USB flash drive has become one of the most successful consumer electronics products of the last 25 years. It's estimated that over 10 billion USB flash drives have been sold to date. The format's simplicity, plug and play, made it a global equalizer of sorts. And its influence has extended far beyond the realm of personal storage. Entire industries, from music to logistics to government IT, have adapted workflows to revolve around portable data. Yet, for all of its technical success, the story of the USB flash drive is also a story of vision and risk. especially in the early days. Unlike many tech products developed in Silicon Valley, Dov Moran's team had to think globally from the outset. Manufacturing was in Asia, sales began in the US, and debugging meant flying across multiple time zones to deal with firmware inconsistencies or controller flaws. Taiwan especially became a second home to the team at M Systems. The journey from prototype to mass adoption wasn't smooth. Early drives were expensive, unreliable, and misunderstood by the market. At one point, M Systems was losing money on every unit sold. Today, we'll be speaking with Dov Moran, who is best known as the Israeli entrepreneur who invented the USB flash drive, a portable storage device that has fundamentally changed how the world shares its data. Let's jump into that conversation. So this is not your first time in Taiwan, nor your first time in Asia, of course. Given your line of business, you must be here quite a lot.
Probably I came here 40 times, plus minus. It's I used to have a very large office. I came first time to Taiwan back in 1994. Wow. So this is over 30 years ago. I like the place. I understood that a lot of the high-tech, practically the origin, manufacturing, where you really get the devices, the machines are here. So maybe you can sell to in America, but still if you don't, the better place is to maybe come here and sell to the producers. I actually acquired a company here in Shenzhen called C1. Wasn't a great acquisition, but I really like the concept, the energy, the desire to follow innovation and new things and new technologies. And I established my office here, so the office of, which actually was responsible for all the activities of M Systems, my company, right, to all over Southeast Asia. Means the office here was responsible for Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, Korea, and Japan. And I had amazing people here. The office was about 30 people. Yeah. Great people. I'm still in touch with some of them. It's really amazing place.
Back in the mid-90s and late 90s, would you say that Taiwan was the place to be for electronic production? Or is it the
Absolutely.
place that has the market for it?
No. This was the place for production.
Exactly,
market is,
right,
of course, in the States. But if your focus is only in the States, then you lose the place where they manufacture. And so you can convince engineers. We were selling a product called the DiskOnKey these days. DiskOnKey is like a hard drive disk, but it's the size of a chip. This was based on flash memory. Well, we invented the whole concept of USB flash drive came afterwards and was more into consumers. But for the industry, we bought a solution which was a component that you can plug into the system, and this would function like a hard drive. And that's only the first days of Flash, where there was no software that enabled it, and no one was talking about this capability. This was very, very new. And the idea was, hey, we can actually talk with guys who are manufacturing computers, industrial computers, small computers, and convince them to use our part. And they will sell the combined solution to their customers in the US. So it worked very, very well.
You definitely revolutionized this whole industry with the idea of flash drive.
Yep.
You said your first time here in Taiwan was 94, and M System officially, quote unquote, invented the USB drive in 99. Is that correct? Yes. So you were working very closely with Taiwan back then, is that correct?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that might explain why you're here for COMPUTEX. We are still, I would say, one of the countries that really leads in terms of innovation in electronics and now maybe higher functioning tech design like AI. In your view, how do you think the USB flash drive in the early days of M System, did you know that it was going to revolutionize the whole market?
Well, I thought it's going to be a great success. But you can ask me, how did I invent it? Which is a story.
I do want to ask you how you invented it, but that's going to be a really long story, isn't it?
Yeah, I can make it short. But anyway, the story is that when I brought it to the market, I thought it's going to be big. Did I think it's going to be big as it really became? No. I thought it's going to be big. By the way, there are many products. I thought they're going to be big and they weren't big. That's part of life. In Hebrew, I gave it the name DiskOnKey. And I looked at it as a combination of a disk and a key. So I saw that, it's a storage that you can take from one computer to the other. That's by the way the reason the way it was invented, because I really had a desire to have my presentations at my pockets. So if I go anywhere, I always have a backup. I can take it out, plug it to any computer, have the presentation. That's the origin of the idea, actually. I went to a conference in New York. My computer didn't work. I was stuck there in front of the audience without ability to present. Hey, no more. I must have something in my pocket. I can plug any computer. I knew that USB is coming. I knew that we already did flash drive. So it's combining dots, actually. It's not invention where you go to the beach and you lay down and think about the universe, and then I have an idea, I'll make a paper that would fold itself. No, this was knowledge combined with needs, combined with some courage and maybe some stupidity, which goes always together with courage, in the concept that, and to actually answer a need that I have. And, if I have this need, maybe others do have the same needs. And by the way, the thought was about this kind of removable storage, but we thought as well about security. And the name in Hebrew was DiskOnKey, DiskOnKey, because, it could be used for as a hard drive replacement or floppy replacement, and a key to your computer or key to access your data, actually. The second part didn't work well.
I think it worked out, because I remember I was lucky enough to have lived through the first years of when the USB was being popularized.
Hey, come on, you weren't born.
No, I was definitely born. I was born in '89, so I was in my teenage years. And I remember when I started using them in my early high school days, there was always a key, as in a line of password that you needed to input, which is far better than, say, the floppy drive that we had, because the floppy drive's security was just a little thing that you...
Yeah, but it wasn't really security. You could always say it was just right protection. It wasn't security.
Exactly. So this was a great invention. It definitely helped a lot of people. I'm curious, from that first conference where your computer didn't work to when USB was officially invented, how long did that take you?
It took about a year.
Just a year? Okay.
Yeah, but we pushed very hard, and we brought the product to the market. And then you may think that, hey, probably you brought it to the market. Everybody said it's amazing, it's great. First of all, it was very expensive. The first one we sold was 8 megabytes.
Yeah,
and
that's right. Yeah.
Price, I think the price was something like, we sold it for $44, and we lost $10 on each one that we sold.
Lost $10.
Because this was really very, very expensive. Because we didn't yet develop a controller, so we had to actually build the whole PCB with a controller. We bought ARM controller and memory, and this was expensive. Yeah. And so we lost money on each one. And luckily, not too many bought it because it was very expensive. But then, after relatively another few months, we finalized our controller, and then the price went down significantly.
Production cost, that is.
Production cost went down as well. Yeah, of course, yes. All the bill of material went down significantly. We began to see quantities, so even the factory who built it for us lowered the prices, and then we began to make money. But there were times that people came to me and said, hey, we can't continue. We are losing money. We are losing money. It's crazy if we continue to sell. If the quantities we are selling will go into from tens of thousands or to 100,000, will go to tens of millions. Yeah. We'll go bankruptcy, just like that.
Exactly. So that's amazing. That I think one of the key X factors about entrepreneurs is how do you, even with that happening, be able to streamline your workflow, cut production cost, and work out a way that, because the market is there, the demand is there, you know it, you believe it, but how to make it work. That's something I want to come back to in later part of the interview, because I know over the years you've also been a speaker for how to nurture the next generation of entrepreneurs. But I have a fun question for you right now, Dov. People have been complaining that why is it that you can never plug a USB drive in right the first time? Why does it always take the front, back, and then back to the front?
There is a very famous joke at the internet. If you search Dov Moran joke USB flash drive, you'll find it. And the joke goes like that. When Dov Moran will die, which will happen one day, I still have many, many years, but when he will die, and they try to bury him, they try to put him one side, won't work, They overlap, won't work. The third time, it will work.
That's a dark one, but yes, why is it the case? I wonder.
So we did not invent USB. We invented the USB flash drive. USB was a standard that was defined by a group of engineers. And by the way, I know majority of them. I met them. I had a great experience of meeting the guys who formed the USB concept at the IEEE. Which luckily thought about everything excluding connecting memory. So, whenever I met any one of this committee, I say, guys, thank you very much for forgetting to write connecting memory, because this allowed me to have the patents. Yeah. So they define it like that because the thinking was, hey, USB, you're going to plug printer or anything like that one time, Actually, one of our fears when we came with the product, the definition of the USB connector originally was 1,000 insertions only. And the meaning is that if you plug in and out 3 times a day, within a year.
1 year,
you kill the product. Yeah, you kill the computer. It's worse than. So we had to go through a lot of work with the connector manufacturers and go through many tests and to be assured. And I remember the day that we already had the product ready. And one of the engineers knocked at my home and said, hey, boss, we found something which is problematic. This product, our product is going to destroy computers one after the other.
It makes sense because
they
if you
will
think
sue
about
us.
the in and outs, the friction, it will eventually have some wear and tear, right?
So what we did, we went to the connectors, all the connector manufacturers, and we convinced them to, first of all, to make it in a way that they'll be better. And we did many, many tests. And in the tests, we found that the right 1,000, the real number was 10,000, and this was good enough for 10 years. So it's,
right.
And people don't really plug and play, every day, a few times or too many times into the same computer, so it works okay. But yeah, there were many, many problems like that. Nothing was smooth and easy. It always looks at the story that, hey, we had a great idea, everything was perfect. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is easy. Nothing is... Back to your question. Yeah. So committee defined it like that. When I was at my last year at M Systems, we actually developed a USB, our product, that you could plug any direction. Didn't matter.
You did?
Yeah. And it worked very well. We had demos of those. We had units design. We had agreement with a connector manufacturer that did. You could plug any direction. It would work perfect. And then we were acquired by SanDisk. And they took control, $1.6 billion. I sold them the company. Yeah. Unfortunately, one of my stupidities, big mistake. That's part of life. So anyway, we were very proud to present to them, hey, by the way, we have a solution that can be plugged any direction. They looked at us, and by the way, they were very, very good. As a company who really was expert in retail, said, okay, that's a nice feature. How much extra you pay for the connectors?
Right.
Not 20 cents, not so bad.
That's a small margin to pay.
And they said, 20 cents? Guy, forget about it. Actually, we don't want you to telemarket that it's even possible because they will enforce us to do it. We lose money because of that. Yeah.
The people would ask for that.
Yeah. We really had great ideas at M Systems when we were acquired. And you are acquired, and what's happened to you the next day? You are not the boss anymore.
You have no decisions that you can.
And that's right. Yeah. And so some of those great ideas just were washed out.
Dov, if nothing else comes out of this interview, I think I need to announce to the world that there was a system that allows the USB drive to be plugged in whichever way, except you guys thought of it, so it's not Dov's fault.
That's not my fault. That's right. Yeah.
As you just heard, even world-changing ideas come with moments of doubt, dead ends, and decisions you wish you could take back. Dov Moran's story isn't just about inventing the USB flash drive, it's about navigating uncertainties, pushing through early losses, and staying grounded even after a $1.6 billion acquisition. And that's where we'll pick things up in part 2 of our conversation, where Dov opens up about the emotional cost of entrepreneurship and what it really takes to nurture the next generation of innovators. I hope you'll join us for that. And as always, thank you for listening to Beyond the Reefs.